I gotta say, I'm surprised by this company. I was wrong about it. I was very wrong about it for a very long time. And the company is Netflix. When this must have been 15 years ago when they were transitioning from sending you CDs in the mail, DVDs in the mail to streaming. Now, looking back, it's so obvious. Yes, they're going to do streaming. But I remember 15 years ago, I thought Netflix was going to zero. But they had this amazing pivot. They did go streaming and they took over the market. And fast forward to today, seems like one of their biggest problems is password sharing. And I will admit, although not under oath right now, but I will admit that I've shared my Netflix password before. I'm not saying I'm doing it now, although I'm not saying I'm not. But the point is, I think a lot of people do it. So anyway, Netflix subscribers climb after password sharing crackdown. Fair or foul?
Okay, so they did that whole thing, that whole crackdown on the password, and all of a sudden some subscriptions went up. Correct? Is
Right.
that where you? Oh, geez, I didn't. I read that wrong. Um, I mean, shit, it seems like the proof is in the pudding, right? They cracked down, they got more subscribers. All right, cool. It worked. Also, I remember when I was first getting into the whole Netflix streaming thing or whatever, and I didn't have a bunch of money, right? And so it was a way. I might be defeating my own point here.
Well, let me just jump in so you can
Yeah.
put that thought together. It's like it seems like it's the right move from a business perspective. Like this is a fair thing to do, and Netflix, you're paying for a service just like you might be paying for a SaaS. We're all paying for tens of SaaS, if not 100 at this point. Like there's so many AI tools and all this stuff that we're paying for, and it's one license per user. And same thing with Netflix. It's you are paying for your household. So if you're sharing with another household, they should probably get another account. And if I were an executive, I would do the exact same thing. Why not?
Yeah, I also think you can get creative with it. And so in this instance, it's hard for me to argue because it clearly worked. Subscriptions went up, right? It worked for them. Great. Another way to approach this could be what I thought when I saw this. I thought about that book, predictably unirrational or predictably irrational. Yeah, predictably irrational. Good book. And in that book, I forget the story, but there was this restaurant owner, and the restaurant became popular because, or one of the reasons the restaurant became popular is that people thought they were getting over on him with wine. I believe, like they felt like it's, for example, and this is not exactly what happened. I forgot. It's been a while since I read the book, but it's almost like you get a whole container of wine or canter, decanter, whatever it is. You get a whole thing of wine, maybe a whole bottle of wine, and you paid for half. But you walk away feeling like you're the one who gypped them, like you got over or something. So you get this feeling of I go here and I'm always winning. I'm always winning when I'm winning. But this is all by design. The owner of the restaurant wanted you to feel that. He wants you to feel like you're getting over, and you just keep coming back. You keep coming back, feeling like you're getting over. Well, who's winning? It's him because you keep coming back. And so I think that Netflix could have pulled some version of this off because these Netflix things that we're watching, they have their own series, their own or like Netflix originals. I think they have video games on there now. They have all this stuff to where if you get more eyeballs on it, and some of these eyeballs are for free, there's still ways you can monetize it, right? There's still ways you can get some money off of this, yet make people feel like they're winning. That would have been another approach. Probably much harder, but very powerful when you leverage it correctly.
Yeah, and it's getting to be a tough business Netflix is. It was a leader for a while, but now every single network has
Hmm.
its own app. So there's lots of competition. They're coming out with their own original content, competing with Netflix. This is completely anecdotal. I'm now talking about myself. Is I actually haven't watched Netflix in a long time because, in my opinion, there's nothing to watch right now. Hasn't been anything good in a while. And maybe there's some people who are sharing their password and they like some show, but eventually it's going to stop and they're going to look around and what's the next show? I'll tell you, like, for me, I'm all about, hey, great show came out. I'll subscribe to your service for a month. Once I'm done watching that show, I'm out because
Yeah.
you don't have anything good coming out anymore. Why would I stay?
Yeah, and I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, so I guess going back to the whole point here, good on them, it worked, man. But I think that there's other ways of gaining more revenue.
Well, look, I'm seeing some recommended articles here from this one, and there's apparently there that Netflix wants to create Buzzler marketing as the streaming giant ramps up ad supported tier. This kind of reminds me of Pluto TV, which is completely free but has ads. There's even I've started to get ads on Amazon Prime, and they're probably going to be pushing me to pay them a little bit extra to not get ads. Hulu, same thing. It's you can get it for ad or no ads,
Yeah,
and it feels like those ads are even worse than TV commercials used to be back in the day.
and so you're saying Netflix is coming out. They might be coming out with a version of Netflix that has ads, and then I
It
guess it's
looks to be
significantly
so.
cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. Netflix looks to revenue diversification as ad business takes time to build, meaning maybe they're having a tough time at getting that to work. And that's why they had to do the subscriber thing. Um,
Now, I don't know. I think you brought up a good point. It has to be getting tougher for them. The streaming platforms like you, people were streaming to cut the cable cord, and then all that's happening now is you might have had a cable network that you were paying anywhere from 60 to $100 for, depending on what you got, and then now people will cut the cord and get one streaming service that they were paying $12 a month or $20 a month, but now it's like, oh, you got Peacock, you got Disney Plus, you got this, you got that, and then all of a sudden it just you're right back to where you started. You got 6 or 7 different streaming services. You're paying more than you pay for cable.
and I could be wrong about Netflix again, but to me, reading all this feels like they've saturated the business. I mean, there's only so many people in the world. And even if we get the AI that we think we're all going to get and the robots that we think they're going to get, they're probably not going to care to watch Netflix and subscribe to Netflix. So at some point, you just run out of customers and you have to keep creating new content. Now, maybe that content creation is going to be cheaper. But to me, Netflix is kind of at this point played out. So they maybe would have to innovate something completely different for me to be interested in this company as a growth story from here. I'm probably going to be wrong about them as I was before, but this is my opinion at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't go to Netflix as much as I used to. I don't watch a lot of stuff. When I do have opportunity to go watch shit, I'll like hop over to HBO Max or something. Um,
That's
but yeah,
that's actually an interesting point. I'd like to kind of dive into that. Why do you go to HBO Max?
they tend to have things that I would be more interested in watching. Um, Either whether it be some anime or some documentary or some movie, I think that I have a higher likelihood of finding something that I'm interested in on HBO than I do on Netflix.
Got it. Yeah, and maybe Netflix is moving more towards a female platform. I wonder what the usage rate is by gender and age and all that stuff. But I know that they have those really popular reality shows of the dating shows, especially, which I mean I hear are good, but that's not a male demographic, maybe unless your wife ropes you into it.
My wife watches Netflix and she'll watch shit like that, or of all the people in the house, she's the one more likely to watch Netflix.